My micromanager installed a software tracker that required 8,000 keystrokes an hour. So, I wrote a few lines of code to become the highest rated employee in the company, all while taking naps and going to the beach. I work remote doing data processing for a mid-sized logistics company. It used to be a great, chill job. As long as your daily queue was cleared, nobody cared how you spent your time. I usually finished my actual work in about 3 hours and spent the rest of the day playing video games, doing laundry, or walking my dog. Then, corporate hired our new manager, Chad. Chad was a 20-something tech bro who unironically used words like synergy, KPIs, and hustle culture. His first week on the job, he decided our department was inefficient and rolled out a mandatory company-wide monitoring software to make sure we were chained to our desks. This wasn't just your standard green dot on Teams or Slack. This software logged your active screen time, mouse movements, and most importantly, your keystrokes. Chad sent out a department-wide email that made my blood boil. To ensure maximum productivity, all remote employees must maintain an average of 8,000 keystrokes per hour. If your hourly average drops below this threshold, the software will mark you as idle, and your pay for that hour will be docked accordingly. People were panicking. 8,000 keystrokes an hour is basically typing nonstop without any breaks to read, think, or even take a sip of coffee. One of my coworkers bought a physical mouse jiggler from Amazon to try and game the system, but IT immediately flagged the hardware signature and she got a formal HR write-up. I wasn't about to lose my paycheck, but I also wasn't going to break my fingers for Chad. I know a little bit of Python. Not enough to hack the mainframe, but enough to automate boring stuff. I realized the tracking software didn't care what window I was typing in, just that my keyboard was physically registering inputs at an OS level. So, I wrote a simple Python script, but I knew if it just mashed random keys at a constant speed, the software would flag it as a bot. It needed to look human. I coded the script to type with randomized, human-like delays between keystrokes. I even programmed it to occasionally make a typo, hit backspace, and correct it. Finally, I needed a massive wall of text for it to type out. I went to Project Gutenberg, downloaded the entire plaintext manuscript of Moby Dick, and fed it into my code. The next morning, I logged on. I spent my usual 3 hours aggressively clearing out my actual work queue. Then, I opened a tiny, hidden notepad file in the bottom corner of my second monitor, ran my Python script, and walked away. For the next 5 hours, my computer flawlessly, organically typed out the epic tale of Captain Ahab and the White Whale. I went to the beach. I took naps. I went grocery shopping. My daily keystroke average? A flawless 11,500 per hour. This went on for 3 months. Once Moby Dick was done, I had the script move on to other classics. I practically typed out the entire Western literary canon. Pride and Prejudice, A Tale of Two Cities, Frankenstein. At the end of Q3, Chad called a mandatory all-hands Zoom meeting. He was beaming. He pulled up the department's productivity metrics, shared his screen, and pointed straight to my name at the very top of the leaderboard. I want everyone to look at these metrics, Chad announced to the entire company. This is what dedication looks like. A 150% increase in productivity. Because of this outstanding performance, corporate has decided to award our employee of the quarter a $5,000 cash bonus. I smiled, unmuted my mic, and gave a very humble acceptance speech about how the new tracking software really motivated me to buckle down and focus. I took that $5,000, booked a real vacation to Mexico, and let my script type out War and Peace while I sipped margaritas by the pool. The best part? 6 months later, Chad was quietly let go for missing his own department management goals. I'm still here, making my salary, and my notepad file is currently halfway through the Count of Monte Cristo.